You know it, I know it. Whether it's grilled, roasted, fried, or in a soup, chicken is pretty much the king of the dinner table. It's the go-to for families, the must-have protein for athletes, and a staple pretty much everywhere you go. So let's take a closer look at this bird we all seem to love.
And I mean, why not, right? It's lean, you can cook it a million different ways, and it's loaded with that high-quality protein and all those essential vitamins. When you stack it up against red meat, you're looking at way less fat and cholesterol. It's the easy choice, the one we all reach for when we're trying to be healthy. It's the food we trust.
But, and this is a big but, what if I told you the story doesn't end there? Yeah, because that very same chicken, the one we rely on to be so good for us, well, it's got a kind of dark side. A side that can actually concentrate toxins and hide some pretty nasty bacteria that we rarely ever think about. So to really get what's going on, we have to look at the chicken's anatomy. It's not just about cooking it right, it's about knowing which parts you're eating in the first place. All right, so check this out. It's a tale of two parts, really. You've got the breast meat, that's the good stuff, the protein powerhouse we all know. But then, you've got the neck. And a chicken's neck, just like ours, is loaded with lymph nodes. Think of them as tiny filters for the immune system. And their job is to trap all the gunk, bacteria, viruses, you name it. They're basically little toxin collection points. So when you eat the neck, you could be getting a pretty concentrated dose of stuff you really don't want.
Okay, let's talk about another part that some people consider a real delicacy, the tail, sometimes known as foie col. Now, I get it, some people love that fatty texture, but you gotta know, it's pretty much a bacterial warehouse. This part has glands and lymphatic tissue where all sorts of pathogens just hang out. And that fat, it's not the healthy kind. Some studies have even linked eating it a lot with a higher cancer risk. The takeaway here is super simple. Maybe just skip this part.
So what about the insides? You know, the liver, gizzard, heart, all that stuff. Sure, they're packed with some good things like iron, but you have to remember what their job is. They are the body's filter. Take the liver. Its whole purpose is to process toxins. Over a chicken's life, things like heavy metals or drug residues can just build up in there. Plus, they're super high in something called purines, which your body turns into uric acid, and if you know anything about gout, you know that's bad news. Okay, so just to recap, we've got the neck, the tail, and the organs on our be careful list. But wait, there's more. The lungs, for instance, can have these nasty parasites that sometimes even cooking doesn't kill. The skin? Yeah, it gets crispy and delicious, but it's also high in fat and can be a trap for bacteria. And here's a modern problem for you. Think about where they give chickens their vaccines, usually the wings and thighs. There's a small but real chance that some of that drug residue could still be in the meat. So it's not just about avoiding certain parts of the chicken. We've also got to talk about the invisible dangers, the germs and chemicals that could be in any bite. Let's kick this off with a number that's, well, it's pretty shocking. A study in Ho Chi Minh City found that a full 60%, that's more than half, of the chicken they tested had antibiotic residue in it. And get this, over a third of those samples were above the legal limit. And the fallout from this is really serious. An expert, Dr. Nguyen Hu Duc, breaks it down as a kind of triple threat. First, it can lead to antibiotic resistance, which is a huge problem. It means the medicines we need might not work on us anymore. Second, you could have allergic reactions. And third, over time, it could even raise your risk for certain cancers. Okay, so that's the chemicals. Now let's talk about the germs. First up, Campylobacter. This little guy is one of the biggest causes of food poisoning on the planet. It just lives in the chicken's gut, totally harmless to the bird. But when the chicken is processed, it's super easy for that bacteria to get all over the meat that ends up in your shopping cart. And trust me, you do not want to get this. It's no joke. Yeah, you get the awful food poisoning symptoms, but in some really rare and scary cases, it can trigger something called Guillain-Barré syndrome. That's where your own immune system starts attacking your nerves. It can cause weakness and even temporary paralysis. It's incredibly serious. And then, of course, there's the one everyone's heard of, Salmonella. Just like Campylobacter, it hangs out in the chicken's intestines. It's the culprit behind everything from basic food poisoning to really severe stuff like typhoid fever. And how common is it? It's pretty alarming. Some reports suggest that here in the US, as much as 2/3 of all the chicken you see in the store could be contaminated. Okay, I know, that was a lot of scary stuff. But here's the good news, and it's really important. You can manage all of this. This isn't about making you afraid of chicken. It's about being smart. So let's walk through your ultimate chicken safety guide. Think of this 6-step checklist as your game plan, from the store to your stomach. It all begins at the grocery store. Keep your raw chicken in a separate bag. When you get home, it goes straight into the fridge, on the bottom shelf so it can't droop on your veggies. Thawing, the fridge is best. Never, ever just leave it out on the counter. And here's a big one, a really important one. Do not wash your raw chicken. All you're doing is splashing those invisible germs all over your sink. Instead, wash your hands and your surfaces really well with hot, soapy water. Use a different cutting board for chicken. And the final, most crucial step, cook it all the way through.
And thoroughly isn't just a feeling, it's a number. And this might be the most important number in your kitchen, 74 degrees Celsius or 165 degrees Fahrenheit. Seriously, a cheap food thermometer is your best friend. Stick it in the thickest part of the meat. Once it hits 165, all those bad guys we talked about, Campylobacter, Salmonella, they're toast. Gone. Every single time.
So look, what's the big takeaway here? The point of all this isn't to make you scared of your favorite food. It's to empower you. The goal isn't to fear chicken, but to respect it. Once you know the risks, you can take these super simple steps and enjoy it with total confidence.
And that just leaves us with one last question to chew on. We've just dug deep into one of the most basic, everyday foods on the planet. And it kind of makes you think, doesn't it? If a simple piece of chicken has this many secrets, what else is hiding on your plate?